tomorrow, remember, this is my country and I'm going to do good for it. Just might work. We'll never know unless we give it a fair try. Oh yeah, and there's one other thing I'll say tomorrow because I say it every day of my life. God bless America.
Land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies,
to the ocean,
white with love. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, land I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night.
with the light from above,
From the mountains
to the prairies,
to the ocean, white with foam.
God bless America.
My home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Rita and I arrived in Hawaii on November 10th. I realized, because of my replaced left knee, that I wouldn't be able to play golf for several months, so I purchased an expensive drone. It was a Phantom 4 Pro, and I planned to, while I couldn't play golf, fly the drone around the point and around the village and occupy myself with something to do. This was the very first flight that I took with this drone. It was over next to the first tee off in the parking lot. You'll notice at the end of the flight, I land the drone, and because I'm inexperienced, I forgot to turn the video off. So you can see me hobbling up to the drone on my bad knee and finally turning off the drone at that point. Anyway, I'm having a lot of fun with it. This tree should get an award for survival. It's clinging to the vertical face of a brick building, and it's obviously been there for probably 20 years. You may be surprised to find out that the name of this tree is the elephant tree. In the fall of the year, around the end of October, our lake freezes, and we go out on the lake and hit golf balls. Golf balls go for hundreds and hundreds of yards. Anyway, this is an example of hitting the ball off the lake. This is what it's like to saw down a redwood tree in California. It must make quite a sound when it hits the ground. Have you ever seen lightning close up? It's pretty dramatic. If you wanted to be reclusive and live like a hermit and not have anyone ever disturb you, this would be the home for you. Can you imagine coming home with a case of beer and climbing all those stairs up to your house? I can't for the life of me understand why this eagle selected a full-grown goat instead of a kid. It would have been so much easier to handle a small goat. In Prince William Sound in Alaska, the whales dive deep and surround a school of herring. They drive the herring to the surface, and then the whales come up with their mouths open, gobbling up tons of herring. On their trip to Alaska, Kathy and Ozzie McLeod observed this procedure that the whales used when they took a boat ride out in Seward. This is what an iceberg looks like above and below the water. The salt side, which is reflected in the lake, looks like a bird flying to the right. This is an unusual picture of a cherry tree with blossoms existing next to the Kilauea lava flows. When Rita and I went back to Alaska last spring, I found out that I was having extreme pain in my back, so I went down to Seattle and I found out I had to have the back fused. This was done on July 5th. This is what my back looks like with the big screws fusing it. As soon as my back healed, I started having extreme pain in my left knee. I went back to the doctors and they told me I had to have the knee replaced. The knee was replaced on October 10th. 2017. It took about 3 months for my knee to heal to where I could handle the pain, and I went out and I tried to hit some practice golf balls, and my right shoulder hurt so much I couldn't do it. So I got checked out and found out I had to have my right shoulder replaced. This was done on February 22nd, 2018. This is an unusual cloud formation over Mount Fuji in Japan. The next video is a nighttime view of Mount Fuji and a kind of a dramatic fireworks display. Following all of those colorful fireworks, we now have something that's going to be kind of bland, an albino peacock. This is an albino peacock and a regular peacock. What a difference. I never realized that albino deer had white antlers. Here is an albino moose and a regular moose. This is an unusual picture of two albino elk. And this is something that is really rare, an albino lion. Last but not least, we have a snow leopard.
I have a new hobby. I am collecting stories that I can actually prove are told among the Russian people. They make them up themselves, they tell them between themselves, reveals they've got a great sense of humor, and they've also got a little cynical attitude about things in their country. The story was an American and a Russian arguing about their two countries, and the American said, look, in my country I can walk into the Oval Office, I can pound the president's desk and say, Mr. President, I don't like the way you're running our country. And the Russian said, I can do that. The American said, you can? He says, yes. I can go into the Kremlin to the General Secretary's office, pound his desk and say, Mr. General Secretary, I don't like the way President Reagan's running his country. I didn't tell this one to Gorbachev. You know, there's a 10-year delay in the Soviet Union of delivery of an automobile. And you go through quite a process when you're ready to buy, and then you put up the money in advance. This man, he laid down his money, and then the fellow that was in charge said to him, okay, come back in 10 years and get your car. And he said, morning or afternoon? And the fellow behind the counter said, well, 10 years from now, what difference does it make? And he said, well, the plumber's coming in the morning. Less than one family out of 7 in the Soviet Union owns an automobile. Most of the automobiles are driven by the bureaucrats. So an order went out one day to the police that anyone caught speeding, anyone, no matter who, gets a ticket. Well, Gorbachev came out of his country home, his dacha. He was late getting to the Kremlin. There was his limousine and driver waiting. He told the driver to get in the back seat. He'd drive it. Down the road he went. They passed 2 motorcycle cops. One took out after him. And pretty soon he's back with his buddy. And his buddy says, well, did you give him a ticket? And he said, no. Well, he said, why not? Oh, he said, too important. Well, he said, we're told to give anybody a ticket, no matter who it is. Oh, he said, no, this one was, I could. Well, he said, who was it? He said, I couldn't recognize him. But his driver was Gorbachev. One of the heads of state that I met with on this visit told me the story about the 2 fellows in the Soviet Union that were walking down the street, and one of them says, have we really achieved full communism? Is this it? Is this now full communism? And the other one said, oh, hell no, things are going to get a lot worse.
Getting back to the animal world again, here's an unusual sight. A mother black bear with 5 baby black bears. This black bear must have been a good mother. Here she is a year later with all 5 cubs still alive and healthy and half grown. The Mexican drivers demonstrating their precision driving were doing really well until the police showed up. This is an unusual picture of an ice cave in Iceland.
I will give you plenty of time to think about it. I'll ask the question. I'll walk away. I'll give you some time to agonize over it, to search your soul, to figure out what the right answer is going to be within your heart. I will give you the opportunity to do the right thing. I know it's going to take some time, but think about it. Think about doing the right thing, guys. So now I ask you, who took the cookie off the counter?
The great blue heron shown in this picture became a meal for the eagle about 10 seconds after this photo was taken. This looks like too big a meal for this red-throated grebe.
Ok, vous pouvez voler sur moi.
of the brown bears at McNeil River feeding on the salmon run. You'll note that the small bears are sitting on the bank. If they went into the water with the big bears would kill them. This is how cars are repaired in Japan. This is a colorful museum in the future. This is a picture of Dennis Hall and his wife Colleen. Dennis and I hunted and fished in Hawaii for the last 30 years, and we were very good friends. Unfortunately, Dennis died of pancreatic cancer last summer. The next video is Dennis and I hunting on the Parker Ranch. It was one of the last times we hunted together.
Dennis is approaching a bird and Pua is pointing. I got this on high telephoto, so it's probably going to be wiggling quite a bit. It's ready to take off. Go get it, Dennis. What a nice shot, Dennis. Oh.
Stu Bevan is an engineer who used to work for me. He's demonstrating how large this bear is by superimposing his own image on top of the bear. This is called regrowth on a small scale. I think this video was taken in Russia.
Завтра что из стройматериалов надо купить? Составь список. У тебя вообще.
Ну я составлю, видишь, щетки надо для болгарки.
Ага.
Доска обрезная 50 на 150, брус, и китикет для кота и для собаки на корм.
Ага. Вообще-то они тут разъехаться не могут, что ли?
Похоже, не могут разъехаться. Мало места. Видишь, ругаются.
Отъехали бы, действительно пропустили бы
Конечно.
экскаватор. Ну, нифига тут.
Нифига себе.
Да ну
Смотри,
нафиг, да ладно.
ни хрена себе.
Пацаны! А что за я? Я снимаю! Пацаны, успокойтесь! Во, пацан! Привет, чуваки! Ну вы попали! Вот это чел дает! Это пиздец! Давай! Нифига себе, вот это он и исполнил, блин!
I'll bet that the people that live in these houses hope that the seas don't rise with this global warming that's going on. This looks like a rather small meal for a killer whale.
사람이 죽은 거야. 죽였어. 아이, 불러 빨리. 누구 불러. 야, 아이, 문 나타난데? 배야, 사람이 죽었다.
Hi, what's your name, darling?
My name is Susan Boyle.
Okay, Susan, where are you from?
I am from Blackburn near Bathgate, West Lothian.
It's a big town.
It's a sort of collection of, villages. I had to think there.
And how old are you, Susan?
I am 47. And that's just one side of me.
Okay, what's the dream?
I'm trying to be a professional singer.
And why hasn't it worked out so far, Susan?
I've never been given the chance before, but here's hoping it'll change.
Okay, and who would you like to be as successful as?
Elaine Page.
Elaine
somebody
Page.
like that.
What are you going to sing tonight?
I'm going to sing I Dreamed a Dream from the Miserables.
Okay.
Big song.
Yeah? Yes.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by. When hopes my life was giving.
You didn't expect that, did you? Did you? No.
I dreamed that love would never die. I dreamed that God would be forgiving. When I was young and unafraid.
All right. Thank you very much, Susan. Piers.
Without a doubt, that was the biggest surprise I have had in 3 years on this show. When you stood there with that cheeky grin and said, I want to be like Elaine Page, everyone was laughing at you. No one is laughing now. That was stunning, an incredible performance. Amazing. I'm reeling from shock. How about you two? But
I am so thrilled because I know that everybody was against you. I honestly think that we were all being very cynical, and I think that's the biggest wake-up call ever. And I just want to say that it was a complete privilege listening to that. It was brilliant.
Susan, I knew the minute you walked out on that stage that we were going to hear something extraordinary, and I was right.
Not a lot of tosh.
Susan, you are a little tiger, aren't you?
Oh, I don't know about that.
You are.
I don't know about that.
Okay, moment of truth. Piers, yes or no?
the biggest yes I have ever given anybody.
Amanda?
Yes, definitely. Brilliant. Amanda, you too!
Susan Boyle, you can go back to the village with your head held high. It's 3 yeses.